Welcome to another episode of Software Reliability Engineering Interview Crashcasts. I'm your host, Sheila, and today we're diving into an important topic for senior back-end engineers: service level indicators, SLIs, and service level objectives, SLOs. We're joined by Victor, an experienced SRE, who will help us understand these concepts. Victor, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Sheila. I'm excited to discuss SLIs and SLOs today.
Great. Let's jump right in with our interview question. Victor, can you explain what service level indicators, SLIs, and service level objectives, SLOs, are?
Certainly, Sheila. Service level indicators, or SLIs, are quantitative measures of the level of service provided to customers. They're specific metrics that reflect the health and performance of a service. Service level objectives, or SLOs, are target values or ranges for these SLIs that represent the desired level of service.
That's a great starting point, Victor. Can you give us an example to illustrate these concepts?
Sure. A common SLI might be the availability of a service, measured as the percentage of successful requests. An SLO for this SLI could be 99.9% of requests should be successful over a 30-day period. This means we're aiming for our service to be available 99.9% of the time.
That's helpful. So SLIs are the actual measurements, and SLOs are the goals we set for those measurements. Why are these concepts important in software reliability engineering?
SLIs and SLOs are crucial because they provide a clear, objective way to measure and manage the reliability of our services. They help us set realistic expectations for our users, guide our engineering efforts, and make data-driven decisions about when and how to improve our systems.
I see. Can you give us a few more examples of common SLIs that engineers might use?
Certainly. Besides availability, other common SLIs include latency, how fast the system responds, error rate, percentage of requests that result in errors, throughput, number of requests handled per second, and durability. For data storage systems, the likelihood of data loss. The choice of SLIs depends on what's most important for your specific service and users.
That's a great list, Victor. Now, let's dig a little deeper. How do you go about setting appropriate SLOs for these SLIs?
Setting appropriate SLOs is a balancing act. You want to set goals that are ambitious enough to satisfy your users, but not so strict that they're impossible to meet or require excessive resources. It typically involves analyzing historical performance data, understanding user expectations, and considering business requirements. It's also important to remember that perfection is often neither necessary nor cost-effective. For example, aiming for 100% availability is usually unrealistic and unnecessarily expensive.
That makes sense. It sounds like there's quite a bit of strategy involved in setting SLOs. Now, we've mentioned SLIs and SLOs, but I've also heard the term SLA. How do service level agreements fit into this picture?
Great question, Sheila. Service level agreements, or SLAs, are contractual obligations that specify the consequences of not meeting SLOs. While SLIs and SLOs are primarily internal tools for managing service reliability, SLAs are external commitments, often involving financial penalties if not met. Typically, SLAs are set less stringently than SLOs to provide a buffer. For example, if our SLO for availability is 99.9%, we might set our SLA at 99.5%.
That's an important distinction. Let's pause here and summarize what we've covered so far. Victor has explained that SLIs are specific metrics measuring service performance, SLOs are target values for these metrics, and SLAs are contractual commitments based on these objectives. We've also discussed the importance of these concepts in SRE and how to set appropriate SLOs. Now, Victor, what are some challenges in implementing and maintaining SLIs and SLOs?
One major challenge is choosing the right SLIs that truly reflect the user experience. It's easy to pick metrics that are simple to measure but don't actually correlate with user satisfaction. Another challenge is setting realistic SLOs that balance user needs with operational constraints. Additionally, accurately measuring SLIs can be tricky, especially in complex distributed systems. Finally, there's the ongoing challenge of evolving SLIs and SLOs as the service and user needs change over time.
Those sound like significant challenges. Can you share some best practices for using SLIs and SLOs effectively?
Absolutely. First, involve both engineers and product managers when defining SLIs and SLOs to ensure they align with both technical capabilities and user needs. Second, start with a small set of critical SLIs and gradually expand as needed. Third, regularly review and adjust your SLOs based on actual performance and changing requirements. Fourth, use error budgets, the allowed amount of unreliability based on your SLO, to balance reliability work with feature development. Lastly, automate the measurement and reporting of SLIs as much as possible to ensure accuracy and save time.
Those are excellent tips, Victor. Now, let's consider some edge cases. How might SLIs and SLOs be handled in a system with multiple interdependent services?
In a system with interdependent services, it's crucial to consider the impact of each service on the overall system SLOs. You might need to define both system-level and service-level SLIs and SLOs. It's also important to understand how the reliability of one service affects others. For example, if Service A depends on Service B, Service A's SLO can't be higher than Service B's. You might also need to use more complex SLIs that track the entire request flow across multiple services.
That's a great point about the interdependencies. As we wrap up, Victor, can you summarize the key takeaways about SLIs and SLOs for our listeners?
Certainly, Sheila. The key points to remember are: 1. SLIs are quantitative measures of service performance, while SLOs are target values for these measures. 2. Choosing the right SLIs and setting appropriate SLOs is crucial for effectively managing service reliability. 3. SLIs and SLOs should balance user needs with operational realities and business goals. 4. Implementing SLIs and SLOs involves challenges like accurate measurement and evolution over time. 5. Best practices include involving multiple stakeholders, starting small, regular reviews, using error budgets and automation. 6. In complex systems, consider both system-level and service-level SLIs and SLOs, and understand their interdependencies. Remember, SLIs and SLOs are powerful tools for objectively measuring and improving service reliability, which is at the heart of software reliability engineering.
Thank you, Victor, for this comprehensive overview of SLIs and SLOs. I'm sure our listeners now have a solid understanding of these concepts and their importance in SRE. That wraps up our episode for today. Thanks for tuning in to Software Reliability Engineering Interview Crashcasts, and we'll see you next time.